Right, I've recovered from the events of last week, and in the penultimate episode of Game of Thrones this week brings us the Wildlings' assault on Jon Snow and Castle Black. Welcome to the top 5 moments from the episode, followed by the overall verdict.
Hold the gate. If they make it through. They won't.
Gren's loyalty to Jon was never in question, so he did exactly what Jon asked. He went down to defend the tunnel and the wall with everything he had.
I am the shield! The guard surrounds the bed! I place my life and honor in the night's watch!
I got one. Right through the heart, he's dead.
Is it over? Well then.
Many people that I know have always detested Sam's character thus far, but this episode took huge strides to rectify that, as he becomes more determined and more confident to stop the Wildling attack and defend Gilly.
Without Mance, they lose their leader. They lose their purpose. They go back to fighting each other, scatter back to their home.
You're going to kill him?
I'm gonna try.
Jon Snow knows that taking out Mance will divide the hundreds of Wildling clans that now stand together, and with that notion, he decides to march north to find Mance.
Come back.
Jon Snow battled Styr, the leader of the Fen clan. Who would be the victor? Ygritte finally finds Jon on the battlefield, but did she have it in her to shoot Jon?
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
My overall verdict for this week's episode of Game of Thrones is a 10 out of 10. Following the Game of Thrones tradition, episode 9 was once again the standout episode of the season. Last week's episode was brilliant for many reasons, but I now have a new favourite. This week was non-stop action in the north, as Jon Snow and the Night's Watch battled to defend the wall from the Wildlings and Mance's attack. It's about time we had a prolonged amount of Jon Snow storyline. Thus far this season it's only been in small bits, but this episode rectified that. It was entirely based on Jon Snow and the events of the Wall. We never left the north for a single moment, and we certainly had some cool moments, didn't we? This scene where Sir Alistair admits that Jon was correct was one of those.
We should have sealed the tunnel while we had the chance, like you suggested.
The 360 shots for the whole battle were great. The giants wreaking havoc was intimidating to say the least, especially with the mammoths that they rode on. And the Night's Watch had a few interesting manoeuvres of their own to keep the Wildlings from climbing the wall.
Drop the side, boys!
A large portion of the episode was looking at Sam and his transformation. As Gilly returns to Castle Black safely, he begins to feel more confident about his actions, as he helps his brothers on the battlefield and defends the wall from the Wildlings. I must say I'm a fan of them finally giving him some backbone, though I must say I'm surprised he's still alive, because normally when something like that happens to a character on Game of Thrones, they get killed off almost immediately. Nevertheless, the wildlings forced their way into Castle Black, and inevitably, Ygritte came face to face with Jon Snow. After stringing Night's Watch members up with arrows for over half an hour, she couldn't kill Jon Snow. She hesitated, and with that hesitation, it cost her life. She was shot by an arrow and died in Jon Snow's arms. And then the battle was won. For now at least, anyway. So Jon decided he had to break up the Wildling Army. He came up with a plan. Not a great plan, give him that, but it was a plan. To go on a solo mission, a suicide mission in effect really, to find Mance Rayder, alone, to eliminate him. Will he succeed? And will we even continue Jon's storyline next week in the finale? Or is that it for this season in the North, for the rest of the tale to continue in Season 5? Thank you very much for watching. Please leave a like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed the review. And I'll see you next week.